pattern for the last 2 years or so. Once these girls they say my fiance, it's a wrap on anything that the dude does is stupid, any kind of abuse,
I remember to unmute my mic this time for a change. What's up, people? We're on a little later than usual. Hey, Renee. On the weekend, I usually start at 4 Pacific time, but I decided to wait till later because a lot of people I noticed don't come until later. So why start earlier if I can handle it? So yeah, I had to move the show from yesterday because the column wasn't ready yet. Candace only done 10 questions, so I know that you guys would have been happy with that. So I just waited, and so she finished it, and it's 21 questions now. We got 21 questions today from people who send in their questions in advance. That's what that QR code is up there on the screen. If you want to submit a question into the column, just scan that and complete the questionnaire form with on your phone or tablet, and then submit it for consideration for a future show. So that's what we do here. I've been doing this for, I don't even know when did I start this YouTube column show? I don't remember. I started this YouTube channel when YouTube was still owned by YouTube before Google bought it. So that's how long ago it was. I didn't really use it though, but I did have it. But so it's been around for a minute. But let's get started. We got 21 questions. Like I said, these are questions people submitted beforehand. I read the questions and then I give an answer off the top of my head. If you have some comment that you'd like to make, or you think, maybe I left something out, or you live in the area where these people do, the country, the state, the city, whatever, and you have some different insight, different resources that might be helpful to them, then please, by all means, put that into the chat so they can see it later, okay? It's kind of a group effort around here. So let's get started. Saturday, August 29th, 2026, 21 question advice column. Question number 1. This is a young man in the 28 to 34 age group. It says no location provided. The young lady in question is in the 22 to 27 age group. Summary issue. The girl that I'm dating gave her sister my phone number so that she could basically interview me with a whole bunch of question marks and exclamation marks. Deb, I'm 29. I've been seeing this young lady who's about 27 who's 27 for about 5 weeks. We've gone out a total of 6 times and things have actually been going pretty well. Yesterday, while I was playing a video game, I got a text from a number I didn't know saying that it was her older sister and that she, quote, just wanted to get a feel for me, end quote. At first, I thought she was joking, but then she started asking how long my relationship was, what I do for work, whether I'd actually want something serious, and even why I'm still single at 29. What made it even weirder is she knew stuff I'd only told the young lady that I'm dating. Like, I'm thinking, what about buying a place eventually and that I have some money saved for it? I asked this young lady about it, and she seemed completely confused that I thought it was weird. Apparently, her sister has done this with guys before, and she trusts her opinion a lot. I like her, but Deb, I'm having someone I've never met basically do a background interview on me 5 weeks after we met. Feels strange. Would this bother you, or am I making too much of it? No, this would bother the hell out of me. You're nice to even answer questions. Because I said, you know what? Tell her to be a grown-up, and that if she wants to know anything about me, to ask me herself. I'm busy. I'm hanging up. And I would hang up. Now, if she went and told her sister, oh, he didn't want to talk to me, this and that, and she wanted to break up because of that, that would be good because it would be like a premonition for what would be coming and how intrusive her family would be in our future relationship. And I ain't about that life. I barely know you. And here you are, got your sister putting me on the grill. No, I'm not really sure why these two sisters think that that's something they should be doing. It's extremely rude. It's intrusive. And you only been on 6 dates. How do I know if I want something serious or not? I just met your clown ass sister and I don't even know you. So, I mean, why would I want something serious? I don't even know her middle name yet. What are you talking about? Serious. Why are you still single at 29? Because I keep meeting people with relatives like you that don't know how to stay in their envelope. Click. They wouldn't want to call me because, I'm stupid, and that would just give me a permit to be even more of a fool. I don't even know what to say. No, this is not wine today. I'm having oolong tea. I'm being good. Let's move on from that craziness to question number 2. This column is called What the Fuck? Because after every question, you'd be like, what the fuck was that? What the fuck was they thinking? What the fuck is they doing? What the fuck did you think that was a good idea for? Stuff like that. This question used to be called, the show used to be called something else. I don't remember what we called it at first, like the first maybe week. And then I noticed everybody kept saying, well, what the fuck? What the hell? That kind of stuff. So the name of it became What the Fuck Advice. And it's been that way ever since. So question number 2, this young lady's 20 to 34. She's from Brighton in the UK. Some issue. I'm trying to get a guy out of my house and I desperately need help. I got with a guy and I moved him into my house too quickly. Yeah, you desperate bras, that's what you do. I got caught up in what I thought was a whirlwind romance, but he turned out to be a damaged little boy with borderline personality disorder. Deb, he controls my every move. He makes me use his wallet. All of our documents, licenses, debit cards, etc., are together. This is my home, and I had put him on my lease after he pressured me into it. He's made me do a lot of things I wasn't comfortable with. He also has been violent with me. When we fight, he takes my phone and puts it downstairs and will abuse me either physically or emotionally until I am in submission. I am so unhappy in this situation. I have called the cops and he turned everything around on me and tried to get me locked up, saying I abused myself and they took me for an evaluation. He's locked me out of my own home. I want him out, but I feel trapped because I just want my home back, but he won't leave. And if I serve him with paperwork, he's threatened to kill me. But he does it in the playful sort of way. I live in government housing and I have a child. I don't want to lose my house, but I want him out. And if I try to serve him with an eviction notice, I'm afraid of what he will do to my kid, my animals, and me. Okay, so you in the UK, so you must be in what they call council housing. I don't know the particulars for how people get it or what the regulations are and all that kind of stuff. But it seems to me that you'll be able to go to the council office, explain this situation, and tell them that you need to move somewhere where he's not on the lease and where he cannot come. You most likely lose your nice place, but sometimes you just got to make a choice and you got to take that L, as we call it here in the US, which means you take that loss. That's what the L is for. You take that L because you made a stupid decision. See, you was more focused on, your desperate need to have a man than you were the quality of the man or what kind of person he was, and if he was qualified to be around you, and especially your young child. You didn't think about the kid, the safety at all. You see someone who's violent and stupid, and you bring this around your kid to where he has 24-hour access to your child. Lady, see, if I were a social worker, I would take custody of your child. Because to me, I put your kid in foster care because you would be too stupid to be a parent. You're not thinking with any kind of protectiveness about this kid at all. All you thinking about is yourself. And look at what it got you. I know, please don't ever write me with this kind of question thinking I'm going to feel sympathetic, because I'm not. All over this channel, there are issues like this where I tell women, you don't let men move into your house. You don't let men move in over your kids, and you don't help men. Now, if you had even paid attention to even one of those videos, one of those topics, you wouldn't have made this stupid decision. So I don't know what it is you think I can do. That's my only suggestion. Go down to the council office and tell them that you need some legal assistance getting this guy out, that you made a decision, that you need to be, him be somewhere where he's not on the paperwork, and for you and your child's safety. That's what you need to do. And if it's a safety issue, I have a feeling like, in most housing authority type situations, they move that to the top because it's a matter of life and death, especially when the person has threatened to unalive you. There's a risk there in case they make good on it. And so that's what I would do if I were you. And then don't you never move nobody else in your house again. You don't have the spine to be, you don't even need to date. Your kid is an adult, and your kid can fend for themselves, fight, call police, defend themselves. Then you can start dating someone. While your child needs you to protect him or her, and they're like a tiny kid, a little minor, you don't need to date anybody because you don't have the sense for it. You don't have the boundaries for it. You don't have the good common sense for it. Okay, you just dumb. Question number 3. This is a female, 22 to 27, from Evansville, Indiana. Summary of issue. I feel it was rude. What do you think? Hi, Deb. I went on a coffee date with a man today that I had matched with on a dating site. We spoke on the phone a couple of times before, and we got on pretty well. Anyway, during the coffee date, we chatted really well for ages. One thing I did find very rude was that his sister phoned him, and he took the call. He sat and chatted with her for 5 minutes or so while I just sat there. It wasn't an emergency call. He was talking to her about a wedding she had been to. I think he does like me, but I'm not sure I felt a spark after meeting him. Am I being extra over chatting with his sister? I would never do this to anyone myself. What the fuck? Okay, just because you wouldn't do it don't mean that anybody else won't. And you don't know where his sister was calling from. Maybe she was calling international, and that was, their time zones are off. And so that's where it was his only opportunity to talk to her. Rather than stay at home and miss her, and stay at home just to get her call, he was out with you. Maybe if y'all hadn't talked so much, as it said, as you call it, for ages, the date would have been over and he would have been at home to talk to his sister. Or you could have got up and went to the bathroom, freshened up your makeup, or made a call yourself while he was talking to his sister. For you to sit there on a first date, a coffee date, and chat for ages and then expect somebody's world to shut down while they do nothing but look at you is a bit much. It's not like he was on the phone with her for 30 minutes or something. A 5-minute conversation is no big deal. Like I said, you could have picked that opportunity to go to the ladies' room, freshen up your makeup, pee, whatever you need to do. Do something besides sit there and get mad because you didn't get his attention for 5 whole minutes. As you can probably tell, I am not feeling you at all. Now, I can see it like people who stay on the phone and they constantly texting and laughing on the phone forever and, taking call after callers. They get up and walk away and do the. This is, to me, a situation that you shouldn't even have had a second thought about. You kept him there, as you say in yourself, for ages. Most likely he was being polite. He hadn't planned to spend that much time sitting there talking to you, drinking nasty coffee. But he was enjoying himself, so he took 5 minutes to talk to his sister. I hope you don't communicate this to him because it will be a red flag. And he would think, oh, she's a little bit too controlling, jealous, and possessive because you've already shown it on the first date. I don't think this is rude. I think this is life, and you need to just roll with the punches. Okay? Like I said, I could see it if he was doing call after call or stayed talking to her for 30 minutes or something. Then it would counter over into rude. But just this one 5-minute call, and like I said, you don't even know where the girl is calling from. So, just chill out. Chill out some. You're too old for this. Question number 4. This young man's 28 to 34. He's out of Washington, D.C. Summary issue. Deb, should I give someone a second chance When they specifically broke things off to pursue someone else, absolutely not. But let's see what you're talking about here. I got a text from a woman I dated like a month ago who broke things off with me. I didn't know why until I saw online she was posting pics with another dude. I asked her to confirm if she was dating him and if that's why she broke things off, and she said yes, and that things didn't work out. I told her no thanks then. She hasn't texted me back. I'm not gonna lie, I feel offended that she thought she could just pick up like I was on layaway or something. What should I do? You should block her number because how many times have I told you guys when somebody breaks up? I mean, when you break up with somebody, especially when they dump you, when the second that's over, you go on your phone and you block them. I mean, you guys that don't do this, I'm just like, what is it that you be thinking is gonna happen? Why do you want to keep at someone that dumped you that obviously don't want nothing to do with you or you don't want anything to do with them? Why would you continue to let them have random access to your your present life and your future? Why would you do that? What are you thinking? I mean, to me, that's like stupid. That person didn't want you. They dumped you. They got rid of you. They shut it down. Okay. So to you, that person should cease to exist. There's no comeback from that. If you let them come in and out of your life like that, it speaks of pure desperation. They know that you haven't blocked them. That means that there's an end, and that means they can run some game on you and get back in your pocket, get back in your bed, get back in wherever in your life just to mess over you a second time. Why do you do that? Okay, I'm going to say this one more time. Please understand when you break up with somebody, unless you have kids together and you got a co parent, that's the only reason. You break up with somebody, they're dead to you. You go into your phone and you block them. You go into your email and you block them. You go on your social media and you block them. They should get no more benefit of access to you. The only reason I could see like you would do that is A, you hoping for that they come back. So you doing that on purpose. Or B, your self-esteem and your sense of pride in yourself is non-existent. So you are desperate for attention, even if it's from somebody that told you they don't want you. Either one of those is not a good look for you. Okay, so go into your stuff, sir, and you block that cow so she can't do this anymore. And in the future, anybody that you break up with, please follow that script. This should never even happen. It should never happen. You let her do that to you. Okay, you just let her torture you for no reason. Question number 5. This is a young lady, 22 to 27, from Westminster, Colorado. Summer issue. Am I expecting too much from my boyfriend, or is it reasonable that I feel completely let down by how he handled this? Oh, this ought to be interesting. First of all, before I do that, let me remind you guys, we're trying to get to schedule the girls' night out. That's like, we have like, I don't know, like a 3-hour show where we don't do nothing but gossip, talk about stuff in the news, talk about women's opinions about men, talk about crazy stuff men do. We talk about, just like girls' night out. I mean, that's what it is. We gossip and we laugh and we just talk about all kinds of random stuff. The phone lines be open, so if people want to call in, they can do that. But go on the community wall on YouTube and you'll see the poll. Pick one of those 3 dates. Is it 3? Maybe 4. I don't know. Anyway, pick one of those dates and times. And the one that gets the most votes rather, by, I think I said Tuesday, is going to be when I schedule the show. Okay? Because it'll be coming up this coming weekend. All right, so go on there, YouTube on the community wall, vote on the poll for girls' night out. Okay, so let's see what she's talking about. Am I expecting too much from my boyfriend, or is it reasonable that I feel completely let down by how he handled this? I'm 26. I've been with my boyfriend who's 27 for just over a year. I recently got shingles, and the way my boyfriend handled it has left me feeling incredibly alone and questioning whether I'm expecting too much from him. An important part of this is that my boyfriend has lupus, so I completely understand why hearing shingles scared him. I'm also a nurse, so when I was diagnosed, I explained the situation to him as clearly as I could. He has previously had chickenpox, so he has immunity. And I explained that shingles isn't something that he would simply catch from being in the same room as me. I kept my lesion, I just had one covered, and explained the precautions that we could take. Despite that, he remained severely afraid of being around me. I felt like he avoided me. At one point, he spoke to me from several feet away by the door, flinching when I tried to touch his hand. And eventually, I stopped even asking him to come over because I felt rejected. To make matters worse, our 1 year anniversary fell during this week, so we didn't see each other or celebrate that either. I told him how hurt and unsupported I felt. Even going for a walk with me would have helped. His initial apology also appeared to be AI generated. Damn. That really hurt. He has trouble talking about his feelings a lot and is really emotionally unavailable most of the time. It's something I have been having trouble with. I just don't see any effort, no planning, no dates, no cute messages, no effort to meet. It's very difficult to show love to him. Maybe it's all getting to me because I give my all in the relationship. Maybe I'm underestimating how frighteningly risky this situation felt for him because I'm a nurse. I'm looking at it more critically. Or is it reasonable that after explaining the precautions and offering ways we could safely spend time together, I expected my boyfriend to find some way of being present? Let's that's not even the issue here. The issue here is that you're trying to create a relationship with somebody who don't want to be in one. Not with you. Look at all the stuff that you say. He never sends messages. He's not trying to meet. It's hard to love him. He doesn't communicate. He doesn't plan dates. He sent you an AI generated. This is somebody. I mean, I don't know if something's going on with him, but he's like this with everyone, or if he's only like this with you. I don't know. And really, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter. The bottom line is this is who he's presenting. This is who you call yourself trying to date, and it's a huge failure. There's no reason to continue this relationship or this bumping your head against the wall trying to create a relationship with this man. What do you think you're going to get out of it? Someone who's just unavailable. Why are you fighting it so hard? I don't understand you girls who just want to chase after a man like he's the only motherfucker on the planet. You just have to be in a relationship with him. He's like the only choice. So you have to settle and compromise and give up stuff and crush your boundaries and erase your morals and values in order to maintain a relationship with this particular individual creepazoid. I don't understand it. Y'all don't have no kind of standards whatsoever. No kind of pride in yourself and what you feel, what you would rightly deserve to have. A man who's interested in you and who wants to be around you and who wants to spend time with you and who wants to get you little gifts, who likes to see you smile, who wants to be in your presence, who wants to suck up your energy, who wants to see you grinning at him, who wants to touch and hug and kiss on you. You don't have those things. And yet you want to try to, create a relationship with these clowns. I don't know. I don't get it. Is it maybe you guys just really haven't had a good relationship, so you have no concept for what it could be like or what it should be like? So this is all you know is dysfunction and being ignored and put aside and treated like a stepchild with red hair and freckles? That's what we used to say when I was growing up. But I'm like, I don't understand it. It's just like you have so little value on what you bring to a man in a relationship. Please rethink this. Okay. I'm gonna stop talking about you right now because if I really go in on you, but just stop. Just stop. Move on. Question number 5. I'm 6, I'm sorry. This young lady's 22 to 27. She's from Vacaville, California. Summary of issue. My parents refuse to hang out with people their own age and get upset when I go out without them. Dad, my parents are both 54. They have friends. I've seen their friends. I've seen their friends beg to go out with them, to go on trips and visit vacations, festivals, potlucks, you name it. They decline everything. I'm 22 and I still live at home, so we spend lots of time together. It's not like I'm abandoning them. This summer, each time I went out with my friends, it caused major arguments, how I never want to do anything with my parents and how selfish I am. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know lots of people. My mother, I don't know lots of people who would take their parents to a nightclub. I do feel bad for them because they really didn't do anything this summer apart from their vacation. They didn't leave the house for any other occasion. It's sad, and I would try to take them out if the issue were that they didn't have anybody else to go out with, but that's not the case. I watched their friends put in tons of effort into inviting them out. When I was a kid, they always used me as an excuse why they couldn't go out, and I felt so guilty. I thought I was the problem. Now I see it's not me, but I still don't understand why they do it. Okay, well, you should be asking them that. You should tell them, okay, we need to have like a come to Jesus moment and sit down with them and say, I noticed that you guys get an attitude every time I, as a 22-year-old, try to go hang out with my friends. You guys are a married couple in your 50s. We have nothing in common other than the fact that you're my parents. We don't have anything else in common. I'm not gonna be hanging out with you. We not buddies, girls. You're not my boy. It's none of that is the case here. So if you guys want to have a social life, what I strongly suggest you do, because you're gonna be aging, you'll be lonely if you don't. When people ask you to go out and do things with them, go and do it. Don't wait for me because it's never gonna happen. I have my own life and with people my own age. To us, you guys, their parents are old. I mean, like, your parents had you old, so they already in their 50s. You're only 22. A lot of people, they got their parents. They're 22. Their parents in their 40s. Your parents in their mid 50s. So, they need to get it together before they hit, 60 or something, and those friends start dying off, and then they don't have anybody. Especially, you remind your parents that they need to have a social life, need to have friends, so that if either one of them kicks the bucket, the other one will have somebody to hang around with because it ain't going to be you. So you need to remind them that, start pushing them in that direction. I don't know. I don't know who gets shingles or why people get it. I remember this guy. I knew this guy at one of my jobs who said he had it, but he was gay. So I thought, the way he talked about it, like it was something that was prevalent, in the gay community. I never asked because it wasn't my business. I was actually surprised he was talking about it at work. But we were friendly, so maybe he just thought it was okay because of our more personal relationship. So I wasn't like, tell him, oh, I don't want to hear it. I didn't do any of that. But I've never known anyone to tell me that they had it. Sorry, my keyboard is falling, except for him. It's the only person. So I don't really know too much about it. I don't know. But me and my brother, we all had chicken pox. We had the mumps, we had the measles, we had chicken pox, we had German measles. We had all the stuff because we had all those things before the vaccinations were out for them because we old. So, I'm not too sure. I'm thinking all these vaccinations that they came up with, that's when everybody started getting autistic and having ADHD and all this kind of stuff. So people say it's not related to vaccines. You can't tell me that it's not, because that's the only thing all these kids of all different socioeconomic groups and races have in common, is they all got them shots. It's the only thing. So, yeah. Whereas, my people, we didn't have all that. Everybody was just regular. We went through the little thing. I guess some boys got sterile because they had the mumps or something like that. It caused infertility in males, I heard. But I don't know. My brothers got kids, so didn't hit them that way. But so I don't really know. I don't know what to tell you. I just, I don't understand why they couldn't just let kids have these childhood diseases. What's wrong? Everybody lived just fine. So whatever. Let's move on. Question number 7. This is a young man, 22 to 27, out of Los Angeles, California. He says, some issue. I always ask the woman I'm having nook with, what's the plan if she gets accidentally pregnant? Do you think I'm crazy? My letter is to share my own advice and ask what you think about it. Something I learned to do is if I'm having nook on a regular basis with a woman, I ask her what the plan is if she should get pregnant. Now, this doesn't apply to me because I don't sleep with women unless we are exclusive. But I imagine if someone isn't exclusive, then it would be important to ask if she's willing to take a pregnancy test if she's sleeping with other men. You must mean a DNA test. I'm not sure that's the way I don't know. Anyways, in my own case, I asked the woman and we have a conversation. I let her know I'd like to be involved if she keeps the pregnancy, but I'm pro-choice and would support her if she decides to have a termination. Luckily, in California, that is an option. This is also a great opportunity to talk about your standings when it comes to termination, because I believe it should be discussed eventually. I think if you're regularly having nook with someone, it's very important to talk about potential pregnancies, as uncomfortable as that may sound. Do you agree or disagree with this practice? Oh, I don't have a problem with it. I think people need to communicate more. I think if more women asked men this question, they wouldn't be surprised when the guy comes out with some garbage like, "Oh, I don't believe in it because that's a life and um, God this and that and all this other stuff." Even in cases of SA or some other kind of situation, they still think the woman should go forward with the pregnancy. And I call bullshit on that. I think, I'm like, people say, well, I'm pro-choice. Oh no, I'm pro-abortion. And I have a whole video about it. I think more people should get them because look at the foster care system. Look at all these kids running around here that people don't want. Just going from pillar to post. Nobody taking care of them. There's people that want them kids. So, they just had the kids because they got pregnant and they was, people was in their ear telling them, well, you can't do that because, God will make a way and it takes a village and all these little platitudes. And so these dumbass girls listen to them or the baby daddy be like, oh, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there. I'm going to support you. This. And of course, 6-8 months down the road, he disappears like a puff of smoke and she's left with this kid. So, personally, I don't have a problem with what you do. I think that's a very mature way to handle it. So y'all know what the plan is. You know what I mean? Nobody's surprised by the other stance if something like that should happen. Although with the modern birth control methods, that should never happen. But, things do happen, so whatever. But I don't have a problem with it. I think it's a good idea. I'll never forget when a guy asked me that question. I told him, oh, I would hop up on that abortion table so fast it would make your head swim. And he was so angry because see, to him, he thought that was going to be his end. That's when I was working as a trainer. I was making like ridiculous amounts of money. I mean, just like ridiculous amounts of money, like, $400 or $500 an hour sometimes when I did group training. And so I was balling out of control. So I think he thought, that would be a way for him to get in my wallet and, to glob onto me. I was like, oh, hell to the no. I'm not having shit. That would fuck up my work. I wouldn't be able to work. Had a big ass belly trying to lift some weights. I don't think so. So yeah, he was mad and we broke up. Guess who didn't care? Yeah. So now I think what you're doing is good, and I don't think you should limit it though to people that you're in a exclusive relationship with. This should be a conversation that you have with any woman because it's basically a philosophy on how they think about things. You need to know if your values and morals are in sync. So I mean, to me, this should happen before that. Yeah, you hire you do a group training session with 4 or 5 women. Group trainings are where the money is. But I knew a guy, he did work for this family. I'm not going to say the name of it, but they own a big business here in the Bay Area. And he would go to their house and train them. And that's how much he charged. But he would go to their house and they have a national product that's in grocery stores. That's all I'm going to say. And they are just like super wealthy people. And that's how much they paid him. Yeah, it was crazy. So let's move on. Question number 8. This is a female in the 20 to 34 age group out of Houston, Texas. Summer issue. What do you do after you get stood up? I just got stood up for the first time. Oh, you poor thing. Well, you're in the 28 to 34 age group, so that's pretty good that you were that old and it's the first time. I was supposed to meet a guy tonight and he completely stood me up. I got dressed, I did my makeup, and even wore new shoes because I was actually excited to see him. I texted him again beforehand just to make sure we were still on, but I heard absolutely nothing. No cancellation, no explanation, nothing. It felt really embarrassing. I sent him a text. He said this, hey, you with your friend, so I just worked. I just finished. And it was like 5 minutes after midnight. I responded, she left shortly after I talked to you and I was expecting to hear from you. I'll leave him from here because I won't respond to his texts anymore. Yeah, that's unfortunate. He was such a loser, but most likely, okay, so say you had a friend over. That's what it sounded like. You had a friend over while you was getting dressed and stuff. So he probably thought, having getting, stood up before, that you would cancel on him and say, oh, well, my friend is over, so I'm just going to stay in and visit with her. That's probably what he thought. I'm not saying it's an excuse, but it seems like a logical conclusion to jump to. And so I'm thinking that's probably, he called himself trying to avoid embarrassment and, getting stood up himself. So he took that approach and just didn't show up because he assumed you were going to stand him up and be with your friend. So, yeah, this is unfortunate, but it happens. It's a misunderstanding. But what you could have done though, when I was in situations like that where I didn't hear from the dude, I just went out anyway. I was a club hound in my youth. So I would just I'm already dressed now. I got gas in my car and some money in my bank account. Oh boy, it's on. And I would hit the streets. I'm not going to let a date stop me. Probably have more fun anyway, because every time I went out, I'd meet people. I don't know. Being stood up, I don't know. That just never bothered me. I always had a plan B. The other person knew they were plan B, though, because, okay, so if you don't hear from me, that means plan A went, okay, that's fine. And they was down with it. So, most of the time, well, no, I say at least half the time, plan B worked. Even if I didn't go plan B right away, like plan A was like not really working out too well. Oh, look at the time. I'm supposed to meet a friend. So it was nice, hooking up with you. I got to go because I have another appointment. Then I'll cook up with plan B and go on with my rest of my evening. So, just think of your dating strategy, kind of make some changes there. Okay. Question number 9. This is a young man, 22 to 27, from Spokane, Washington. Summary of issue. What are some recipes that you'd like your boyfriend to know how to cook? Oh, this sounds like a response for everybody watching. So you can put your comments in the chat. What are some recipes that you would like yeah, exactly, Ash. That you would like your boyfriend to know how to cook for you. Okay. He says, hey, auntie, I'm a 33-year-old mixed race male on a big break from dating. It's been going on 5 months right now. I want to work on myself more. I've been a cook for around 8 years, but most of my known recipes are more corporate/commercial, if that makes any sense, like stuff meant for sale rather than heartfelt meals, I figured that one of the things I can work on is being a better cook for a potential future partner. I know everyone has different tastes, but I'm just looking for some inspiration. Also, before your viewers say anything, I know I'm a little overdoting. Saccharine is the new word I learned, LMAO, but please don't be too judgy. I'm really being sincere here. Okay, ladies, so you can type in there what you think. What are some recipes that you'd like your boyfriend to know how to cook? What would you like to eat? I don't know. I like omelets. Okay, let's start with the first menu, breakfast. Omelets, French toast, and if he can make me eggs Benedict, I'm going to marry him. For lunch, I don't know, I'm pretty whatever. I don't care about lunch too much. And then other times, like, barbecue is always good. A man should always know how to grill the perfect steak. Should know how to grill some ribs. Should know how to grill some vegetables. He should know how to grill some fish. Know how to grill. Okay, man. To me, I'm going to snatch your man card if you do not know how to grill something. Also, making basic things like soups and stews. Some, I don't know, my husband he cooked everything. So, yeah, there we go. Travel One put in here. She got baked salmon, garlic potatoes, scrambled eggs. Heck, he can just do it all. LOL. That's right. She's got it. Cheesecake and banana bread. Okay, Ash went straight to the desserts. She said, forget that food. I want some desserts. That's right. So, I think, and also my suggestion is go on TikTok. There's some brothers that have channels on TikTok and they cook some really good looking stuff. It looks like it would be tasty. Just follow some of their recipes. Because they all men and they got wives, and the wives don't be looking mad. So that must mean the food is good. Because a woman will be having a real kind of twisted up face if the food is nasty. You know how we do it. Sisters will tell you with their expression that your food is nasty. You'll get the stank face in a minute. Like this don't taste right. They give you the scowl, so you know right away that whatever you cook, you don't need to cook that again. Don't do that. But their wives be just grinning and eating and all round and plump and smiling. So and the food looks good. So I would suggest, kind of starting there. They make all kind of good stuff, all kind of stuff. I just be like drooling, looking at all that stuff. Like, man, I need to get me a new boyfriend that can cook for me. That would exactly that face, like, where you don't want to say nothing, but your face says it all. You don't want to use your words, you know what I mean? But your expression says it. Question 10, this female, 35 to 41 from the UK. Summary issue. Am I wrong to think being wealthy is vastly overrated? Well, let's see your logic. I know this will sound out of touch, and I apologize in advance if I offend anyone, but I've been reflecting on my life recently, and I truly think being wealthy is the most overrated thing on the planet. Yeah, that's easily said by someone who is rich and just not appreciating their position in life. I'm 35 and my total pre-tax income is about 2 million pounds, the L thing, see in the UK, with half coming from working as a partner on colleges in the States and half coming from active investing. My husband makes slightly more, totaling household income of around 5 million pounds. Now, how much is that in US dollars? Is anybody living in the UK can translate that for me real quick? How much is 5 million pounds in US dollars? Now I've done it if I can say the following. Number one, it feels totally normal. Number two, it's incredibly isolating. Number three, the pressure and difficulty is intense. Our children are still far too young for this and trying to avoid it, but it's very common that the children will face intense pressure and stress and so much sacrifice. I left everything behind in the UK, put off having children until late, missed out on so much, etc. Yeah, she give her money away since she don't want it. Give some to me. Being average isn't much worse. People earning the average wage can still afford a comfortable house, a decent car, food, occasional holiday, etc. My mom was completely broke when I was a child, and even that would have been fine if she didn't make brain dead decisions constantly. Yet the average person seems to believe it's endless bliss, no stress, and every rich person is a genius who never tires and never feels sad. What's your take, Deb? Well, I wouldn't say that I was rich, but my family, I don't know, my father owned a lot of property in San Francisco. So we grew up on a very, middle class lifestyle, even though we lived in the hood. I'm talking about the opportunities that we had. We all had music lessons, dance lessons, tutors if we need them. We went on vacation. My mom got a new car every other year. We had our own house, a 10-room converted Victorian house where we lived. I mean, big, huge backyard. I mean, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts. I mean, we did all these classic, typical middle class types of things. But like I said, I would not say that we were rich by any stretch of the imagination, but, we weren't struggling for money or anything like that. So, but I do know people, as I got older and I started working and met people who were investment bankers and, business CEOs and stuff like that. They very wealthy people with millions and millions of dollars a year in income. And I could see that they had to stay on top of things. There are people always trying to get their money, use them, come up with some kind of crook stuff to, swindle them out of money. So they had to stay forever vigilant. They had to invest carefully, very, choice decision making about where they would put their money. They set up trusts and things for their kids to make sure their children were protected. But, they didn't want them to just, to squander away, millions of dollars of money. They had to stay on top of their businesses and just deal with board of directors. I mean, there was a lot going on. And I would imagine that was probably pretty stressful. But, so is trying to figure out where you're going to get your next meal and how you're going to feed your kids. It's just a different kind of stress. So I think what you're missing is that most people, when they're talking about that it's, like it's a party, what they mean is that if they had to have stress, they would rather have that stress than the stress of having no lights in their house, living on the street and with a shopping cart, or living under a bench and not knowing where their next meal is going to come from. It's that stress, but so you talking about the stress of, oh, I have to keep up with my millions, and they talking about I have 50 cents and I need to feed 3 kids. So, the stress is different. Do you want me to feel sorry for your fucking ass? That's not gonna happen. You sit up here whining about, all your money. Then, as one of the people here in the audience pointed out, then give it away. Set up a foundation and help people who don't have what you have and who need some help. Okay? Do that. Children always need help. Okay? Set up a foundation to help kids that have foster kids or something go to college. A lot of those kids are brilliant, but they don't have any options. They don't have anybody helping them to pave the way. Whereas your kids, see, it's just gonna be guaranteed. They're not gonna have to stress about getting a scholarship and all that kind of stuff. You're just gonna write a check. But these kids are gonna be struggling trying to figure out, how can I get out of poverty if I don't have anybody helping me to get a leg up? That's where you would come in. You and your buddies. Do something that's gonna help somebody so you stop whining, sending these whiny ass letters to me, because I really don't give a fuck. You got all that, make use of it in some kind of way that's gonna benefit somebody other than yourself. Yeah. She's not happy because she's selfish. So I'm saying, when you have stuff like that, you have to look at it a different way. You have to look at it as a blessing. I mean, even me with the stuff that I had, I would go out in the community and do stuff for people and sponsor kids in school, buy them school uniforms and buy them school stuff and stuff. And not in the thing where they did it with the fire department or anything like that. I would just go to the school with a whole bunch of stuff that I picked up and say, there's kids here that are going to need this, and drop the shit off and let the principals and stuff give the stuff out to the kids that needed it. I would do it. You spend $800 or $900. Like I said, I was making just ridiculous amounts of money. Was that going to hurt me? And it was a tax deduction to me on the second hand. On the back end, it was a tax deduction. I didn't really know all that. I didn't really think of it that way. I just saw some kids, like at my daughter's school, who needed some help, and there was nobody helping them and no funding available. So I did it. I didn't look for somebody else to do it. I did it. The kids that needed lunch, I sent the lunches to school for them. Stuff like that. And if I could do that with that little Mickey Mouse amount of money I'm making, and you sitting up here talking about you making 12 million, whatever millions a year in US dollars. What is your excuse, lady? Do something with yourself. This is ridiculous. Yeah, just sitting up here worrying about something that's not even a problem. It's like, if it's too much money for you to handle, give some of that shit away. Problem solved. Question number 11. This is a male, 22 to 27, from Pembroke Pines, Florida. Summer issue. I need advice on how to approach a girl that I like. First of all, at 24, I am no man of experience. Like, I dated a girl once for 4 months and that's it. I've been single ever since. I was pretty happy about it until now. I was attending the wedding of a cousin. I saw this really cute girl that I liked. After a little investigation, I found her name and looked up her Instagram account. In a nutshell, I want advice from you and maybe the ladies in the squad on how can I approach a girl that don't know me. Maybe she saw me once or twice and I don't follow her Instagram yet. Oh, don't follow her Instagram yet. P.S. Her account is private. I'm trying to make sense of how he wrote this. Her account is private, have 0 posts and no people. And to make things worse, she's traveling next week for 10 days. So am I cooked for good? Can you help me? Yeah, it's kids. I have a thing for kids. I'll turn my back on an adult because I felt like your fucking ass had some choices. You should have done this shit different. Little kids don't have that choice. They're looking for somebody to help take care of them because they can't help themselves. They're children. So for kids, I will do pretty much anything. For adults, I'm going to be giving you all kind of side eye and telling you to get off your ass and make the magic happen yourself. But a little kid, they can pretty much ask me for anything. I'll give it to them. But adults, I'm like, fuck out of here. So in this case, my brother, what I'm going to suggest to you, okay, you were at a wedding. She was at the wedding. The wedding was your cousin. So somebody at that wedding knows who this girl is, right? You found her name. What you need to do is reach out to your cousin and your other relatives and friends that was at this wedding and say, do any of y'all know this girl? And somebody gonna say, yes, I know her. Or they gonna know somebody that knows her something. So anyway, some kind of ways you're gonna be able to connect with somebody who does know her, and you'll be able to say, is she already dating someone? Is it serious? Yes or no? If it's yes, you're gonna just ratchet your expectations back and leave her alone. If it's no, you're gonna say, hey, I saw her at the wedding and I really want to get to meet her. Can you hook me up with an introduction? By phone or by on in the internet, whatever kind of way they suggest doing it. And then you do that. Maybe they'll have an event since holidays are coming up. Maybe they'll have a Halloween party or something. And then you go and then you'll be able to see her again. And then you'll be able to, run your game. Okay. Roll up there like Lando Calrissian. I'm the proprietor of this establishment. No, child, my nerves is not good enough for all of that, Kiki. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. I told y'all about my babysitting experience a few months back. I'm still trying to recover. That baby was 5 months old. Cute, just cute. Oh my God. But they want to stay up all night. They want to play at like 3 a.m. and shit like that. No, I can't do it. Too old. I need my sleep. I need my rest. Old people, I need my naps. Kid don't want to take a nap. I need one. Kid sitting there playing and shut up. Let me take a nap. No, that wouldn't work. That wouldn't work. So yeah, that's how you're gonna do that, dudes. You're gonna put the effort in to meet somebody to find out who knows her, so that person that she knows is already comfortable with can say, hey, my cousin, my friend, my buddy, whatever, you know, kind of came across you at such and such a wedding, and he's really interested in getting to know you. How you feel about that? She might say, no, I'm not interested, in which case it's going down the vine. She might say, oh, okay, well, who was he? And then that person can remind her, maybe send a picture from your social media or something. And then she can say, oh, okay, yeah, let's meet. So then they can hook it up. They can act as an intermediary. But you're not going to stalk somebody's social media, and you're not going to reach out to her yourself. You're going to do this like you have some sense, in a way that's going to help her feel comfortable, and it's going to kind of, make the boundaries between the two of you a little softer, because she'll know someone. That always makes the introduction a lot easier, and it feels better for women. Okay. That's what I'm saying. He good, because I wouldn't have waited if it was me. I would have been all around that room. Hey, you who that is? So I could have found out right there before we even left. And then I would have been like sliding up there like, hi, what's your name is? My name is whatever. Here go my number. I want to take you out. What you think about that? The worst she could say is no, thank you. And then you can say, oh, that's too bad. Well, just remember my name in case you change my mind, because that's my cousin there. And you know what I mean? Let her know who you know up in the spot. And then I say, okay, but it's still nice to meet you anyway. I'm going to keep hope alive. And then, make some little joke or something. I mean, don't leave with women feeling like you done put them on the spot and, you all mad because you got rejected and all that kind of stuff. That's one thing dudes do, and it just is such a turnoff. You want to leave it in a way that has her saying, hey, he was, afterwards she's thinking about you, and she's like, he was really nice. He was so funny. He was cute. Maybe I should give him a chance. And that's how you set things up for success. So many men don't think like that, though. They're like, well, she rejected me. And they go away with all this piss and vinegar. And then the girl's happy that she rejected you because you act a complete damn fool, instead of just being, like pleasant, nice, joking, something that she'd be looking at you like, like, oh, did I just mess up? Was that the wrong thing to say? Because sometimes people reject you because they're just so caught off guard. They don't really mean it. They just need time to think about it, and they don't know what to say. So they say no because they just need some space. So by doing it that way, coming off nice, like, I'm going to keep hope alive that you change your mind, and I'm going to go and I'm going to go to the shrine. I'm going to do, whatever you're going to say that's funny and makes it sound, that's going to make her smile. And then you give her time to think about what you said and what would cost her to do what you want her to do. And she may very well change her mind. But dudes don't think like that. For them, it has to be all or nothing, right then and right there. Not understanding that's not how most women are going to think. They need time to think about you and what they saw and what they heard and what you look like and what you smell like and how you were groomed. And if you had dirt on your fingernails and what your teeth look like, your grill, and all kind of stuff was going on in women's mind when they're judging you. So you give her time to do her little assessment, and you leave space for her. So, I'll take you anywhere you want to go. Just all I need is a chance. you know, something. Just do something. They just be making this just so fucking hard. Just, I don't know, if I was a dude, I would have all the women, all of them. Because they just make it too hard. Just putting all this unnecessary stress on themselves. Question number 12. This young lady's 20 to 34 out of San Diego, California. Summary of issue. Do you think marriage is still worth pursuing when you're genuinely okay with being alone? That's a good question. Yes, is the teeth real or them caps? Veneers. What's going on with that grill? Or like, why his teeth all like, yeah, all kind of stuff. We be thinking about all kind of stuff. I'm 33, unmarried, and at this point in my life, I'm not actively looking for a partner. My last serious relationship was many years, about 9 ago. Wow, that's a long time ago. It ended because he eventually got married, and honestly, I was affected by it far more than I would like to admit. It took me 4 years to move on. After that, I threw myself into my career. I was learning new technology, changing roles, studying, working, building my life. And I had a good group of friends around me. I never really felt like I needed someone. A few years later, I thought maybe I should try dating with the intention of marriage. I met a few people through matrimonial platforms. Some I genuinely liked, but eventually I realized that they weren't looking for the same thing that I was. Some seemed to want something casual or short term, while I was looking for something meaningful and long term, and it used to piss me off. I tried a few times. Every time it didn't work out, I found myself wondering, why is this so hard? Then life happened. I lost my dad. There were family responsibilities. And for a few years, my attention was simply elsewhere. Whenever I felt like I needed someone to talk to or share my life with, I would occasionally try again. And somehow I kept ending up in situations where the other person wasn't really looking for the same kind of commitment. Eventually, I stopped looking, and something unexpected happened. I became okay. I have my career. I'm constantly learning. I cook. I travel when I can. I go to the gym. I explore things. I attend retreats. And I have a lot of things that occupy my life. There hasn't been a man in my life for many years now. And surprisingly, I don't really feel lonely. My family still looks for someone on my behalf. And if they find someone and he asks me to meet, I don't automatically say no. I stay open to the possibility. But I'm also at a point where I don't want a short-term relationship just for the sake of having someone. And at the same time, I'm increasingly hesitant about marriage itself after seeing so many difficult relationships and marriages around me. Deb, I'm financially independent. I'm building a life that I genuinely enjoy. And I'm not sure I want to trade that peace simply because society says that at some point I should get married. So I'm genuinely curious about women who choose differently. Like if you're single and you decided not to marry, how has your life actually been? Or if you have experienced marriage and now single by choice, what prompted that? I'm not against marriage at all. I just don't know whether I should actively keep looking for it or simply continue living my life and let it happen if it happens. No judgment either way. I'm just generally trying to understand what makes sense for the next chapter of my life. I'm going to say this, no matter what you say you want, it's not up to you to decide. I mean, you can want marriage all you want to. That don't mean it's going to happen. Or you could be like me and not want it. And suddenly you find yourself walking down the aisle like, how did this happen? Where am I? Who am I? Who is this man? So, I mean, life just has a way of happening and you just kind of don't really get to choose everything that you think you would get to choose. So I'm going to say this, you can be in a relationship with someone and not have to be married, especially if you don't plan to have children. There's no point in getting married to me. To me, having kids, in a marriage situation provides the best protection for them. For adults, you don't have to be married. You can make wills and trusts and things that provide your mate, your chosen partner, with the same kind of protections and rights and stuff. So, I mean, it doesn't have to be marriage. Marriage gives a lot of it automatically, but you can just, circumvent that with documentation. So your partner can get the same, ownerships and whatever else, other rights, insurances and all this kind of stuff as anybody else. Now, the only thing might be Social Security, I think. You have to be married for that, but I'm not really sure. I don't know how that works. But you might have your own, so you might not care. The other thing is, whether you should keep looking for it. No, you should not look for it. I mean, just think about, I mean, the way that marriage used to be, women pretty much had to get married because they couldn't own any property, couldn't vote. I mean, women just didn't have a lot of rights. Their property and stuff would pass from, being managed by their father to being managed by their husband. So, it was really hard for women up to a certain point in time. But once women fought and got rights for those kind of things to own their own, had their own credit and all this kind of stuff, then the need to be married outside of having children or being, influenced by religion, I mean, it's just not there. If you're not a Bible thumper or, all up in the Quran or whatever, it's not really a necessary part of your life. I mean, you can even have kids and stuff. You don't have to be married. Like I said, you just provide them, do the paperwork, and they got the same rights and stuff as anybody else's kids. So you just think about, what it is that you think would be the point of you getting married. What do you think you're going to get that you don't already have or can't get in some other way? And a lot of people just think marriage because their train of thought is very narrow. They don't consider, okay, but if marriage was so great, grand, and wonderful, what the fuck is all these high divorces for? I mean, let's get real. It ain't all that. You see that? Have I remarried? Oh, no. No interest in it. None. Really didn't want to get married when I got married, but afterwards, I really didn't want to get married. So there's just no point in it to me. So you think about it. I mean, you have to feel like, whatever you do in life at this stage, you're a grown woman in your 30s. Whatever choices you make now, that choice should be bringing you some benefit. If you don't see where getting married is going to give you enough benefit, like, you do your cost benefit analysis and the benefits ain't benefiting, then you don't make that choice. It's just that simple. Yeah, I think, a lot of women have to get past that brainwashing though. From their women are always told, you should get married. And they feel like that's like when they get married, it's like the pinnacle of success, the one achievement of womanhood rather. And a lot of guys online, these manipulative types, they will kind of reinforce that. Well, are you married? You ain't married. Like that was motherfucker, neither is you. So shut up. You know what I mean? They be all talking about like some woman's not married. I don't see a ring on your finger, dusty, crusty bone. They always want to throw that away. You ain't married like it's a, some grand achievement. It's like shit, anybody can get married. All it takes is 10 minutes at the courthouse. I mean, it's not a big deal. You know what I mean? If you just want to be married, I mean, you can marry anybody. That's not the issue. The point is being married to someone that's going to benefit your life on the long term. What are they doing that's going to make your life better? Why should you marry them? If you can't think of no reason, then don't do it. Question number 13. This young lady's 22 to 27 from Wolverhampton, West Midlands in the UK. Summary of issue. Should I give a genuinely nice man a chance without strong attraction? Hey there, I just wanted some other women's thoughts as I'm forever choosing the wrong man to date. I came out of a 9-year relationship 2 years ago, and I feel like ever since I've just got into a type of meeting men that's just after one thing. Obviously, I don't give them what they're hoping for, but I feel like that's what I'm attracting most of the time. Well, you're in the age group where that's going to happen. Actually, I mean, that continues on, and that's all they be thinking about. So, but when you're young like that, that's really all they be thinking about. So, I mean, part of that is your age. Just recently, I have met someone who is the complete opposite. He isn't necessarily my type on paper, looks-wise. However, he is so kind and caring, I can tell he is a genuinely decent human. He asked me stuff no other man has in a long time. He asked me out a few times, and I keep putting it off because I'm worried that maybe he's too nice, if that makes sense in a weird way. Deb, do you think I should just go for it? I mean, attraction isn't always the main focus, is it? I just feel like maybe I may lose a good thing if I don't give him a chance. Would you go for the good guy even if the initial attraction isn't there at first glance? I'm just so overwhelmed with finding the right one. Absolutely, because I'm going to tell you, you still stuck in that little girly mind saying where you're going to meet your eyes are going to dance around and you're going to hear fireworks and explosions and all that kind of stuff. That's not real. That's not how it works. It's not how it works. The first thing that comes for you to be able to fall in real love with a man is respect for how he rolls. You got to respect his hustle. If you respect how he carries himself, what his goals are, his conversation, his values, how he treats his parents and stuff. I mean, just who is this man? Who is he? How does he roll through the world? When you observe him and you can respect his hustle like that, it's easy to fall in love with men, with a man, even if he doesn't look that great. What you don't want is somebody who's a Gila monster. But I mean, why do you feel like you need somebody that looks like he stepped off the cover of GQ magazine? What you looking like? You know what I mean? Most of the guys who have good character aren't the stellar looking ones. Those are the ones who are very arrogant because they always got by on their looks. They know they just have to show up and women be falling all over them, throwing their underwear at them and stuff. They don't have to develop any kind of kind, caring or attentiveness to women because they get women just on the strength that they just standing there. Those guys are jerks, but you attracted to them, so here you go. What you have in your, there's men who, like I call them boyfriend material. They look good, they flashy, they fun. You don't marry them, and you definitely don't fall in love with them. Those are good time dudes. And then there are guys, they might not look as good. There might be something about them that makes you roll your eyes and, breathe hard and sigh and stuff. But overall, you know that your life is better. You smile more. You're more at peace. Your heart feels good and calm. You sleep better. Everything's handled. You don't have to worry about shit. If he says he's going to do something, he does it. That's the man that you want to marry. That's the man you want as a father for your kids. You want somebody who's solid and who's there and dependable, who's got his head on straight. You want your kids to have someone that they can be proud of and that they can depend on and that you can depend on so you guys know that he's going to be there, take care of business, and protect you. So I think, you're 22 to 27, 8 years old. That's plenty old enough to get your head out of them fucking fairy books and start paying attention to the real world. You're going to go out with this man and you're going to stop tripping about what, you being attracted. Attraction, what has attraction got you so far? You've been attracted to all them other motherfuckers. Where they at now? At some point in your life, lady, you need to grow up. Okay, it sounds like it's time. This is time. But that's the same problem I had with the guy. When I first met my husband, I was like, oh no, this can't possibly be happening. He looks like a hood rat. It was just like so turned off. I mean, at least her, she said she's just not attractive, but she wasn't turned off. I was like turned off. I mean, like he was like, I couldn't believe it, but I had to be nice to him because my brother's friend, right? So I couldn't be my usual rogue self. I had to be nice. Plus this event he invited to, all his family was there. So I had to rein myself. I had to keep myself in check, but he was so nice. He was so respectful. He was so attentive. His family was lovely. I mean, they just welcomed. I mean, it was just a really weird, nice, pleasant experience. I laughed a lot, and I just felt like they loved me from the minute they saw me. Who could resist some shit like that? I didn't want to go out with him again, though. I told my brother that. But, my brother talked to him. He got himself together. He changed a few things about his appearance. And then after that, it was on like Donkey Kong. Because he wasn't ugly. He just dressed weird and he just had a weird haircut and I like clean cut dudes and he just looked like a hood rat and I just wasn't feeling him. But once he cut his hair and trimmed that bush beard back and put on some regular clothes, I was like, oh, what your name is again? I forgot. And that was that. So, I'm speaking from personal experience. Don't throw him away just because you thinking that you're not attracted. Don't do that. You could be making the biggest mistake of your life. I'm glad I listened to my brother because he begged me to go out with him again. He said, please, he's perfect for you. He's been like, oh my God. So only because I love my brother, I said, okay. And I'm glad I did. He was right. So you got to do things sometimes, don't be so quick to rush to judgment. If he's ticking all the boxes of all the qualities for a decent human being and he treats you well, you will gradually grow to appreciate other things about him. And another thing I'll tell you too is as men are loved, they tend to look better. Something about them changes. It's very visual in those. They have these series on TikTok called the Black Wife Effect. You see these corny ass looking white dudes. Oh my God, they look like Gomer Pyle and just toe up, just looking just Opie like. And then they get this black girlfriend and she changes them. She, makes them get a little flavor. And next thing you know, these white boys be fine as fuck. And it's like, oh my God, was all that there? But see, they see the vision. They already knew that he had all the personal qualities. He just wasn't on hit visually. So that's something that's easy to change. But as men, like I said, as men are loved, I tend to notice that they blossom and they will tend to look better. So give him a chance, honey. Please don't just throw him away just because of that. Yes, all I'm trying to say, Travel One, you got to know who he is, what he's working with. All of that. Question 14, bringing back memories. Question number 14, this female, 28 to 34, out of Manchester, England. Summary of issue. I've been called to HR for behavior at an after-work event. Deb, I was in the after-work reception last week. There was mingling and mixing, and I mingled into a group of 4 colleagues. All of them were holding wine. I was holding orange juice. One of the colleagues from a different department I'd never read it before asked, "Why aren't you drinking?" I kind of waved my hand and said, "Oh, reasons," and laughed. I believe this made it clear that I didn't want to discuss the matter without making things awkward. The guy then said, "Intriguing, like what reasons?" Oh, so he just don't know how to read the room. Okay. I saw red. I basically listed all the reasons why someone mightn't want to drink alcohol and told him that it was inappropriate to ask. I didn't shout or swear, and I wasn't overtly aggressive, but my tone was patronizing, and I took a very forthright kind of stance, unblinking eye contact, standing at full height, no smiles, etc. Okay, you fluffed your little self up. Go ahead, girl. I didn't give him a time to reply. I excused myself from the group and went home shortly afterwards. Today, I got an email from my line manager asking me for a meeting with her and HR people to discuss what went on. Apparently, it's a matter of unprofessional behavior. I'm not in a union. I've never had any dealings with HR before, and I'd really be grateful to hear your thoughts on this situation. I mean, anything. What do you think might happen? What should I do to prepare, etc.? Okay, so we don't know who brought HR into it because it might be him, but it could be one of the other people in the group, or it could be some other random person that just happened to hear it that was, standing nearby that you don't even notice. So we don't know who reported this and we don't know what spin they put on it. So what you're going to do is you're going to go in there and you're going to listen first. You listen to what they have to say. Don't say nothing. Okay, you want to get facts first. Bring a notepad. Write stuff down that they say. Then what you're going to do, I have a feeling what they're going to say is, well, this person just asked you this question and your response was overly aggressive. And, we felt it was unprofessional because this and that. And then what you're going to say after you've taken your notes of whatever points, keywords, you're going to pull out their keywords. Then you're going to use those keywords back on them. So say the keyword is aggressive. You're going to say, well, I felt, hey, Shay, I see Shay popped in there. I felt it was aggressive for someone to ask me when he asked why I wasn't drinking. I told him, I gave him a reason, and he persisted to ask me again. I feel like that was aggressive. It disrespected me in that it was obvious I didn't want to answer this person and share personal information with them. Why would they try to force me to answer that question again in a public group like that? Why is that okay, but my response to him in being intrusive is not okay? Okay, then you go, whatever their next keyword is, you're going to use that back at them too. So go on and down the line. But the bottom line, what you want to do is focus on the fact that this individual, you asked you a question and you answered it, and they kept hounding you anyway, like you didn't have, like you had no right to not answer their question, that they were going to demand that you answer their question and give them the information that they want, even though you never met this motherfucker before in your life, and don't want everybody at your work to know your personal business like that. It was inappropriate for him to ask you that. That's going to be your point. You're going to keep circling back to that. It's like, why is that okay in your mind for him to ask me that when I already told him, well, you know, which means it's shut down? Why is that okay? And put it back on them, because what you want to do is set things up so that they're going to have a hard time explaining why that's okay. Then most likely they're going to default to, well, you know, but you didn't have to, you know, come off so aggressively. Say, well, anytime someone, I feel attacked, I will respond aggressively to defend myself. That is, even under the law, that is allowed. So why are we here again? And then you get up and walk and say, is this over? Is this, you know, I don't really have anything else to say. You're not going to let them write you up, say, you know, if this is something that's going to balloon into something else, do I need to get an attorney? Usually that makes them back down, because then they don't want to get into the legalities, into the weeds with it, over some bullshit that they should have never called you in there for in the first place. So that's how you're going to do it. What you do, your goal is to go into that room and make them feel stupid. Okay, let me just sum things up. You're going to make them feel stupid for bringing you in there. And most likely what happens is, see, because this is a man and you're a woman, these guys have this thing, like, you don't have the right to tell them no. And you don't have the right to not answer their questions the way they want you to, when they want you to, the way they want you to, how they want you to, as long as they want you to. And you dared, you know, you clowned him in front of three other people. That's what he's mad about. So that's what I said. You just make sure that they understand that anytime someone approaches you in an aggressive way that you perceive as a threat, you're going to respond accordingly. And if they don't like that, then they need to make a policy that applies to all staff, that they do not ask others intrusive questions, intrusive personal questions, and then, you know, don't start none, won't be none. So you listen. I mean, I know my thoughts are kind of random, but you listen to this a couple of times to kind of organize my thoughts. And then when you go into HR and they bring you in there, then you know how to handle it. That's what I would do. But see, I'm just the kind, like, yeah, I've known that they don't like it when you don't do what they want you to do. And they don't have to be your supervisor, just any old random dude. They just, why are you doing this and that? Why is that your business, says Deborah? Well, I just want to know. Well, I don't want you to know. They fly to HR because they get mad. They don't like when you tell them no. When you don't do what they want you to do, they just feel fucking entitled. So that's why you have to make sure that they understand, unless this is going to be a policy that everyone is going to adhere to, then you're not going to single me out, because then I will have to get an attorney. And you just tell them that shit. That's what I used to do all the time. I said, God, my brother's an attorney. They didn't need to know that he was in the opposite coast. They didn't need to know that part. They said, like, my brother's an attorney. Should I call him? Oh, no. We don't need to do all that. Because it's true, he is one, but he's just not. He was talking about getting barred in the bar here in California, but I don't know if he's going to do that. He was talking about that earlier this year, taking the California bar exam. But he's licensed to do law in Virginia, D.C., Maryland, and Florida for some reason. I don't know why he did Florida. Like, he had a client that had some land down there or something. But yeah, if he adds California, so then he can do stuff here too. I'm like, oh, that would be lovely. So yeah. That's what you do with HR. HR, they try to bully you. But I'm telling you, the trick with them is to make sure that they know you ain't scared, that you're not going to be bullied, and that unless they're going to institute a policy that applies to every single person, they're willing to put it in writing and disseminate throughout the company to all employees, then they're not going to single you out. And that's it. That shut down many kind of bullshit they try to get started with me by making them do that. So is this going to apply to everybody? Well, no. I'm like, oh, well, it's not going to apply to me either, right? Because then that would be like discrimination, singling out, bullying, workplace bullying, all those kind of things, creating hostile work environment. These are not them legal terms. They quickly shut that shit down. Because then they, A, know you know what you're talking about, and B, they know you ain't the one to fuck with over some bullshit. They leave you the fuck alone. Oh, I used to love that. And the 3 lawsuits that I had for messed up employment, law firms. And you would think would know the fuck better. We were representing other people, other businesses in their labor law stuff with their employees. And here I am suing the fuck out of them in court under the EEOC. DFEH laws. That's Department of Fair Employment and Housing in California. 3. Woo, I'm telling you, folks, they just be doing what they think they can get away with. Don't let them do it. Don't let them do you like that. Question 15, this young lady's 22 to 27 out of Burbank, California. Summary of issue, I met a guy on a swipey thing. After a few messages, he told me that he isn't looking for a hookup and wants a real relationship. Besides, and I quote, I'm very bad at nook. I don't like it, he says. Oh, 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 I haven't heard this one for a while. Okay. Hearing that, I felt so sorry for him. Girl, you so fucking brand new. I tried to tell him that I'm sure he could fix his problem. He said that I'm very polite and a rare girl for reacting like this. Yo, he's so full of game and bullshit. Anyway, we started talking. It was very well, but I just couldn't forget what he had told me. Later on, he explained to me the issue, and I realized that if we ever had nook, I wouldn't enjoy it. So I explained to him my concern quite honestly. I told him that whenever he begins a conversation with such a statement, how do you expect to have something further than a friendship? What would it mean to me as a woman to be okay with no sexual pleasure within the relationship? At that, he became furious. He said I should have told him when he first informed me that it would be a deal breaker. I felt so bad. I enjoyed our conversations. It was awkward to tell him anything before I was ready, but at the same time, I felt bad because it was as if I stung him along for no reason. I'm very sad. You very dumb, but you could be sad too, I guess. After not receiving any messages, I deleted my account. That swipey thing wasn't for me anyway. But right now, I'm very sad because I didn't want to hurt him, and I did. He seemed like a nice guy, and maybe it was a need for validation, pity perhaps. But now I've made things so much worse for him and his psychology. Am I a bad person? I never had a guy confess his sexual problems, and all I wanted to do was help him. You so stupid. Oh, okay. First of all, you just talking to this man, just met him in a swipey thing. Why in the world? See, I'm glad you shut your account down because you're too dumb to be on the internet. First of all, any man is going to tell you some shit like that. Don't you understand that that's just game? He's trying to feel you out to see if you're going to be the type to feel sorry for him and try to work with him to try to solve his problem and everything so he can screw you and do you like a pump and dump and you wouldn't be able to say shit about it because he already told you that he's not good at it. See how that goes? You just set up there. And you was all, oh, I felt sorry for him and, he could fix him and this. And so you was falling for it. Where you took a left turn was when you try to get all logical, oh, how would you think that, what's that supposed to mean for me to be okay with it and all this kind of stuff. See, that's how he knew that this game didn't work. That's why he got mad because you weren't, that wasn't for the script. The script was, oh, when are we going to get together? I would like to help you work on that problem. I would like to help you, get better at it and boost your confidence and your skills. That's what he was waiting to hear. But see, as you hit him with the, what you think, how you think that's going to work when I'm not trying to be in a relationship with somebody, I'm not getting nothing out of it. So that's why he got rid of you because he could see it wasn't going to work. So in the future, I'm going to tell you this too. You just meet a man and he starts talking about some stuff about the bedroom, hang up. He's not interested in you. He's just trying to get his dick wet. That's it. That's all. He's not trying to be with you like on the relationship tip. He just wants a screw. And by telling you that he's bad at it, that means he don't even have to do nothing to try to make it good for you because he already told you he's bad at it. And you was dumb enough to drop your drawers and sleep with a man who told you he's bad at nook. So when it's over in 3 minutes, or if that, and he's like, that was great, thanks. Then, you can't say nothing. Because he already told you. Girl, please don't be this dumb going forward. Okay? Don't be this dumb. I'm not trying to. They probably do, but ain't nobody trying to be bothered with these clowns. They just too stupid. But, the main thing I say, I want to just break this down because so many of these young girls don't know these games. It's like, so your dick broke. That's what you're supposed to say to him. Your dick is broke, or are you just such a selfish, you a 3-minute pump chump? What's going on? You're supposed to clown him, make him feel worse. turn the game around on him so that when you hang up the phone, his ego is just smashed to smithereens. That's what you're supposed to do when guys try to run this game. You see, he pulls that out. You're supposed to crack your knuckles and just devastate his world. Say, oh, so how long has you been all fucked up like that? How many women's lives have you ruined with that broken ass dick you got? Well, who ever taught you to fuck? Who told you could anyway? How you know it's bad? All the women laugh at you. What's going on? I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to turn to Barbara Walters on his ass, asking all kind of questions to make him feel even worse about his broke thickness until he just admit, well, I just said that. It's not really that. I'm really good at it. Oh, okay. But still, what you lied in? What kind of game was you trying to run? You think everybody's stupid? I knew that's what you were doing. That's why I kept hounding you with questions because you're full of shit. You just a bullshit ass motherfucker. I'm out. Yeah. If that's why action like more like 3 seconds. That's why I say 3 minutes. That's good. So most of the time they say it'd be 30 seconds. You got 30 seconds. In 1, 2, 3, over. Oh no. You girls who feel sorry for these dudes, please stop wasting your energy and your emotions on these clowns. Ain't not trying to be with you like that. Okay, question 16. She's 18 to 21 out of Dayton, Ohio. Summer issue. Is this an odd thing to rant about? Hey, Auntie, I'm 18. I've been dating someone who is also 18, and it's been amazing. We bond over everything and share so many of the same interests. We talked for months on end before dating, of course, and now we just recently been on the topic of career paths and college. He is studying neuroscience, which is something he is so passionate about. He lives in California, where he's going to go to college for 4 years there, and then choosing an out-of-state college to continue another 8 years of schooling for his PhD. We're currently long distance, and it will only really be visits during the 4 years in California, since I can't just pick up my things and move there, especially since I own a hedgehog, which for some reason are banned in California. Yes, that's right. We don't allow hedgehogs here. I guess I'm writing because while I love him so much, we're both talked about goals and just what we want. We both want to try adopting or having a kid around the age of 25 to 28. By the time school is done, he'll be 30. What should I do? You should realize that you are 18-year-old and dumb, and you think that just because you in love this minute, that this is a happily ever after moment. Too much Walt Disney. Okay, you all gonna date now, and then he's gonna go away to college. You're gonna break up. That's what you're gonna do, and you're going to date someone who's local. He's gonna date someone in California who's local, and then y'all gonna be happy. Enjoy your time together, honey. This is it. This is all you got. Okay. I know at 18, your emotions are high, and you thinking, "Oh my God, this is the one. I'm gonna be in love forever. We're gonna grow old together," and all these little things that y'all like to think, it's not gonna happen. Okay, it's not gonna happen. Question 17. This female is 28 to 34 out of Fremont, California. Summary of issue. Do I confront my family member about her daughter stealing? My partner and I went on a trip out of state and allowed a family member and her kid to watch over our house. In sort of premonition mode, but mostly because I had cute things, I put things away in areas they couldn't easily be found or seen without doing some digging. When we returned, I noticed one particular item I was very fond of and excited to use was missing. I was suspicious of the 11-year-old right off the bat, but I held my tongue, mostly because I believed that was the only item taken that I'd noticed anyway. It's been over a year now, and now they room with us. When I was looking for something in storage where some of their items were kept too, I saw a hair clip that came in a set I had gotten years ago. I only recognized it because it was iridescent and colorful and unique. I went to my jewelry box where I kept the others from the set, which were of more muted colors, and the colorful one was missing. I was shooketh. She had stolen more than one item. Upon digging further, I saw some more of my tiny stationery items in that stationery storage container. Later on, we had an emergency that required we verify everyone was okay in the wee hours of the morning. Then I saw a kawaii-style correction tape item in her room that had been missing too. These weren't items you could just buy anywhere. You have to go to a specialty store for them. So at this point, it's like 5 things confirmed that she's stolen. I've not said anything, but I feel like a then 11-year-old should know better. Should I tell the mom? I also worry if this kid continues to steal, she'll end up stealing from the wrong person. But mostly I'm pissed off that someone I trusted with watching my home stole from me. Deb, I find it hard to believe that the mother didn't notice her kid with new things that she never bought, unless the mom knew about it too. Now I'm going into conspiracy theories, but let me know what you think. Or would it be wrong of me to confront at this point? No, it's never wrong to confront people for stealing your shit. What you do is sit them down and you pull out the items that you got and say, you know, I found these things. These are my things, but I found they were missing from my room and I found them in your storage thing, and which means that you stole from me. I want to tell you that this is unacceptable. If you do anything like this again, you guys are going to have to get out, and not with a notice that day. One thing I refuse to do is have in my house is thieves. If I can't trust you, you can't be here. So this is your warning. Mother, you get your child under control. If you see her with things that you know that you didn't buy for her as a mere child, of course she's not going to be, finding all these things. Then you make sure that they're not mine. If she comes home and says she found something, you run it by me first and make sure it's not mine. If it does turn out to be mine, then you guys will have to get out. So that's what my parents had a rule. You can't find nothing. Don't you find nothing unless it's rusty and half broken or something like that. Then you can find it. But you come in this house talking about you found something, they didn't let that fly. So we, even if we did find something, if it was new, we had to either turn it in to, police, school, whatever, turn it in, knock on the door, say, we found this in front of your house. It's yours. Something, you had to do something. Or you just walk by and leave it there because they wasn't letting you bring it in the house. You know, we having that kind of good fortune over and over and over where you just finding magically new shit. That did not fly, not at our house. We couldn't get away with that one. So you might have to suggest that to the mother. But yeah, this would be difficult for me. I have a cousin right now. She banned from my house, and she sold some earrings. I don't think I paid about $3 for them earrings. Some place in the 80s I got them earrings. But they were handmade, and they were, some little rinky-dink trinket shit. But that's not the point. The point is they were mine. She came to my house, and they were in the bathroom. And when she left, they weren't in the bathroom. So she stole my earrings. She was banned from my house. I said, bitch, don't you ever think about coming to my house again. And I used to see her around too, see her ass at First Fridays and stuff. I just act like I didn't know her. She'd be like trying to take my hot cousin. I'd be like, I don't have a thieving ass cousin like you. Fuck out of here. Yeah, but that's so much. Yeah. I would have to say something too, Travel One. I can't hold water on stuff like that. I would have to be like Kool-Aid and bust in that room and tell them about themselves. Question number 18. She's 22 to 27 out of Charleston, South Carolina. Summer issue. Am I wrong for canceling the house I booked for our family reunion after finding out that my sister secretly invited my raggedy daddy? My family does a reunion every summer, and this year I volunteered to organize it. I found a big lake house that could fit everyone and put the reservation under my name. I paid the deposit myself, and everyone was supposed to send me their share later. For context, I haven't spoken to my toxic dad in almost 4 years. He hasn't been to any of these reunions since then either. My family has always known we don't want to be around each other, and up until now, they've respected that. I'm not going to get into every detail, but there are some very, very good reasons for it, and they know I don't want to be around him. But 2 days before everyone was supposed to go, my cousin accidentally mentioned that my dad was coming. That wasn't an accident. I thought she was confused, so I called my sister, who had been helping me organize everything. She admitted she invited him weeks ago. My mom and a few relatives knew about it too. Their plan was literally to just have him show up because they thought if I saw him in person, I'd stop being stubborn and we could finally fix things. Wow. What pissed me off even more was that they were planning on giving him one of the bedrooms in the house that I booked. So I canceled the reservation. That's right. I was still within the cancellation window and I got most of the money back. I told everyone immediately after I did it. Now the reunion is basically falling apart because there aren't many places nearby that can fit that many people on short notice. A few relatives already took time off from work, and one family member drove several hours before finding out. My sister said I ruined it for 15 people because I was angry at one person. She basically told me that if being around my dad was such a problem, I could have just not come instead of ruining the reunion for everyone else. My mom keeps saying I ruined something the whole family looks forward to every year, but then they should have respected you. I'll go into this in a minute. I feel bad for the people who genuinely didn't know anything about it, but I also feel like secretly invited someone I explicitly don't have contact with and expecting me to sleep under the same roof as him was insane. Auntie, was I wrong? Please help me. Absolutely not. You were totally within your rights, and I'm proud of you for having the courage to make that move. That was savage. That was beast mode. That was perfect. See, people like your family, they don't understand cause and effect until they have to suffer the repercussions. Your sister going on the say when your sister said you ruined it. No. Your big mouth and your invitation to that motherfucker is what ruined it. Had you kept your mouth shut and respected me and kept my boundaries in place, then we wouldn't be having this problem. The problem is because of you. Because you thought that you knew better than me what I should be around. When I paid my money to book this thing, your ass ain't out a dime. I had put it on my credit card. The only one who was paying for it at this point was me. The only one who would have lost something was me. The only one that was the one thing I asked you not to do, and you did it anyway. So fuck you, bitch. Now, y'all don't give a fuck what you do for your reunion. You reunion with that motherfucker all you want to. I'm not going. And you ain't either. So there you go. Oh, no. See, you did good because, I would still be cussing her out. She would get cussed out of my mother talking about, you ruined something the whole family looks forward to every year. Say, look, your bitch ass is the one that married that raggedy motherfucker and created this problem. You chose that toxic dog. So I don't want to hear shit you got to say because your opinion is obviously your picker's broken and your opinion don't count for shit. So you think I wouldn't say that to my mother? You trying to come at me for something that I told you not to do? Oh, no, she gonna get a taste. The sister gonna get a taste. And any other relative who will have something to say is gonna get a taste. What this is betrayal. This is betrayal. They thought they're gonna manipulate you into being like wherever you were, miles and miles away from home, in a situation where it wouldn't be that easy for you to escape from, and then to force you to be around it while they all witness it, like holding you under a microscope. See why they look at have your emotional reaction to having to be forced to be around this fool. That's what that is. It's cruel. It's abusive treatment. And that's what you need to tell them. Is to let them know, like, you do some shit like this again to anybody else, you might not live to tell it because a lot of people are not going to react like me. They're going to come out guns blazing because you violated all kind of boundaries, all kind of principles, and my trust. I want nothing else to do with you. And if you didn't talk to any of them for years after this, you would be within your rights. Oh, honey, I'm telling you, I've been through something like this, and it was horrible. It's a horrible feeling. That feeling of being, the shock of the betrayal of people that you thought you could trust, just doing something to you that they know you're not comfortable with. It's going to make you miserable and unhappy. And they do it anyway because they feel like, well, this is what I want to do, and I want you to just deal with it. See, that's some bullshit. My oldest brother did that to me with one of my exes. They're going to invite this clown to Thanksgiving of all things. And this motherfucker actually came. I went in the bedroom, changed my clothes, got in my car, got on the phone with my girlfriend. I said, I'm coming back to San Francisco. He lived in San Jose at the time. Coming back to San Francisco, what you doing? She told me, just come here, girl, just come here. So I went to her house where she was with her family. And I had Thanksgiving over there. And I didn't talk to my brothers, my brother and my mother and father was all, they was all there. They was all in on it. I didn't talk to them motherfuckers for years behind that. Like, you're not going to betray me like that. I wasn't really into cussing folks out then because I was younger then. I wasn't into cussing people out then, but they would have got an earful if I was the me that I am now. Ooh, so I know what you feel, girl. I tell you firsthand. I know how heartbreaking that is. And I can only guess what your father did, but I'll leave it at that. Question 19, young man, 28 to 34 from Chesapeake, Virginia, summary of issue. Am I being hateful for changing the locks after my brother gave our parents a key to my apartment without telling me? Didn't we have a question about a key? Somebody gave somebody a key last week. Hey, Auntie, thank you for taking my letter. My younger brother stayed in my apartment for a few days when I was out of town. I gave him my spare key because he was feeding my cat and grabbing my mail. A few weeks later, I came home from work and my mother was sitting in my kitchen. She lives about 45 minutes away. Apparently, my brother had made her a copy of my key because she told him it'll be useful in case I ever needed something. Nobody asked me. She apparently had it for nearly a month before I even knew. I told her I wasn't comfortable with anybody having a key without me knowing and asked for it back. She got offended and kept saying she would never snoop and that parents having a key to their kid's place is completely normal. What really annoyed me was my brother acting like I was being paranoid. I have quite a few expensive things in the apartment, but even if I had nothing valuable, I still feel like that's not the point. It's my house. I ended up getting the locks changed instead of arguing about whether she actually gave me back every copy. Now my brother's pissed because he says I basically accused our mom of being a thief and wasted money just to make a point. My mom has barely spoken to me since. If changing the locks isn't the right thing, then what should I have done? No, you should have done that. And you did everything that you did right. Yeah. Well, I mean, he was taking care of the cat and bringing in the mail. That's fine. But what you now found out is that you can't trust your brother and you can't trust your mother. Your brother's stupid. What he's supposed to do if your mother wanted a key, he's supposed to tell her no. When so-and-so gets back, if you want a key, you ask him for it. I'm not giving you a key to nobody's house. They haven't given me permission to do that. That's what your stupid ass brother was supposed to do. Not just give your mother a copy of the key. So you need to have a conversation with your brother too, so that he can understand, like, if he lives somewhere with like a girlfriend and one of his buddies or somebody, relatives wants a key to the house, he live in the house with a woman, and he starts giving out keys and something happens to her because he done give everybody a damn key. So they get like unfettered access to his house and his girlfriend. So then he would understand. He would have a whole new perspective on things. Your brother's stupid. He doesn't even understand that. But this is the kind of thing people normally teach their kids. So I'm not understanding why your brother didn't get this message. Or he just ignored it. Your mother, it's fine that she don't talk to you because something wrong with her that she thinks that that's right. To be marching your ass into somebody's house. You didn't ask her to do anything for you. There's no reason for her to be there. She was just being nosy. That's why she came in and sitting down on the couch with her legs crossed waiting for you to come out in the door. No, you did right to change the locks. I'm totally behind you. That's a perfect decision. Question number 20. She's 18 to 21 out of Chicago. Summer issue. I lied to quit a job and now I feel guilty. I'm a 20-year-old international student. English is not my first language, so excuse me if this sounds awkward. I just did something extreme. For the past few months, I was working a job that completely destroyed my mental and emotional health. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't focus on my university classes. And I was literally breaking down in tears during my shifts. It got so bad that I just couldn't take it for another day. I knew I needed to get out immediately, but I felt so trapped and overwhelmed that I panicked. I couldn't stay there one more day. So instead of giving a 2-week notice, I lied and told my boss that someone in my family passed away and I had to fly back home immediately. Now that I'm away from there, the guilt and anxiety are hitting me hard. I know lying about a family death isn't a great idea, and the guilt is killing me. Can you help me? Yes, get over it. You're welcome to adulthood. I have two sets of values. One is to people I care about, my family, friends, loved ones. I don't be lying to them. I always tell them the truth, even if it hurts. For people at work, I will create some fantastical stories. Just who gives a shit? Because I don't owe them anything. And by the time I left there, I won't ever see these people ever again. I don't know them. They don't owe me. I don't owe them. So whatever I say, if it's going to get me the desired results, that's going to be good. In a job market like that, in a job, it's every man for himself, and it's all about what works for me. Okay? If it works for me, it's a good thing to do. In your situation, before you had a mental breakdown and like a total psychotic break because of the stress, any way that you got the fuck up out of there, I'm behind you 100%. Please stop feeling guilty. You don't owe them anything and they don't owe you either. That's the nature of employers in the United States. There's no loyalty. So don't feel bad about it. They will find somebody else to come and take that job probably within a few hours. They had somebody in that job. Yeah, 2 weeks notice. I'll give my notice is more like 2 minutes. Oh, in the time it takes me to put my stuff in a box and say, by the way, I'm leaving and I'm not coming back. I've quit. Actually, that's what is that? It's more like 20 seconds. That's my notice. Yeah, just be, now if you have plans to go somewhere that this is connected to where you are, that's a little different. That requires a little bit more finesse. But you a student, you working like jobs, like Mickey Mouse, like jobs. It's not no career path where that's not a career path job for you. That's something you can completely leave off your resume and nobody will be the wiser. So don't worry about it. And our final question, I think this is the final question, or why does this look so long? Wait a minute. What the heck's going on here? Is this one question or is this two? Hold on. I just want to make sure oh no. Okay, this is the next to last question. There's 22 questions actually. Okay. This one looks long. Summary of issue. She's 18 to 21, Mobile, Alabama. Am I selfish for refusing to babysit my nephews anymore because one of them knocked out my veneer? I'm not the brightest person about kids. I don't really like them. I don't like to be around them unless they're family, and I would never be a parent, okay? I'm 18, my sister 24, and the kids in question are my nephew that are 5 and 3. The older one we'll call K, and the 3-year-old is B. They're both very badly behaved. My mother decided to take us all to the beach because it was almost K's, that's the older one's birthday. She asked me to go, and at first I didn't really want to because I don't like being around a lot of people, but since it was his birthday, I went. The thing about this nephew is they don't behave. My sister actually gives them an iPad just to make them be quiet. I don't have kids, but even I know that's not a good idea. I don't say anything about it, but I definitely disagree. And that does get them quiet for a while, but unfortunately, because of that, they don't behave at all. They run off, they scream, they don't listen in the slightest bit, not even to my sister. Halfway in the trip, when we were walking in the sand, Kay ran off so far and didn't come back and looked at us and kept running and kept stealing stuff from other people's purses or bags and kept wanting to hug random people and give them high fives and talk to them. And B did the same thing. I was embarrassed. Yeah, these kids, it makes you just want to never have a kid. I was not having fun. I got a sunburn because I'm really pale and I burn easily even with sunscreen. Okay, she was trying to help, but the kids don't listen to her either. Now, here's where I got very pissed off. I got root canals and veneers, to be specific, after years of neglect on my dental health. And I'm going to have to admit it straight up. I was very neglectful of my oral health. I never brushed or flossed or used mouthwash because of depression. Luckily, my insurance covered all of it. My sister said she wanted to go in the smoke and vape shop. And since we're not 21, I took K and B by the hand and told them we had to wait outside. B started screaming and crying. It was really hard to juggle both kids. I set K on the bench and I picked B up. And while he was thrashing around, he elbowed my jaw and knocked my veneer out. I panicked and I was in pain because that specific tooth was the most painful one. I was trying to stay calm and put it back while dealing with the thrashing kid and bleeding. When my mom came back, I gave both kids to her and I was crying as I called the dentist. I was pissed off and humiliated and still had to push through the trip because no one wanted to leave yet. Wow. So you slept with your mouth bleeding and in pain and they just still wanted to stay. That's why I used to like to take my own car once I got one. And in that entire time, all my mom worried about on the trip back was cleaning my room. When we got home, I told my mom I was done. I wasn't babysitting them again ever. She, one of those boys on the trip, she can babysit them next time. And I told her next time I see those kids, they better be on damn leashes. Then she said the child leashes were inhumane and she doesn't believe in that. I was irritated. My mouth was hurting. My feet were sore for walking for 6 hours and I was sunburned. I luckily got the veneer fixed pretty quickly, but I was still mad. I'm serious about never being in a situation where I have to be the sole caretaker of those nephews. I know B didn't mean it, and I don't blame him, but he seriously could have hurt me worse. Am I wrong? Nope, not at all. Not at all. And make sure that you tell your sister. And if you think that you're going to come and drop them off because I'm here and mom's not, and that I'm going to watch them because you're going to walk off and leave them, be assured I will call Child Protective Services and 911 to come and get them. When I say I'm not babysitting them and taking responsibility for their asses, that's what the fuck I mean. So you're going to have to tell her to put her on notice that that's what's going to happen so she won't try you. You're going to have to tell her that. Tell your mama too. I'm not watching them ever again. So be very careful on them dragging you places. If you can get your own ride to different places, I just don't go anywhere with them. So when I got my own car, I never went with my mother in the car again. I would say, I'll meet you there. And I would drive my own car. And I would get there. So when I got ready to go, guess who got in their car and left? Boop. I'm not waiting for you. Because they be taking 2 hours to say goodbye. They start easing towards the door. You know how them old folks do. They're going to take 2 steps toward the door. Then they got to go back and have more conversation. Get something out the refrigerator they forgot. Have more conversation. Then they go back to where they were and they take 2 more steps toward the door. Then they go back. Oh, it's take you an hour to get out the house. By then I'm home. I'm chilling. I'm in my bed. I'm eating snacks. I'm watching TV. I'm doing something else. I'm not going to be waiting there with them. So, if you can get your own car, I don't know what your financial situation is, but that's the time you spend babysitting them for free, you can be working. And the final question of tonight is question number 22. This young lady is 22 to 27. She's from Escondido, California. The young man is 28 to 34. Same issue. Am I a selfish, controlling biatch for refusing to let my boyfriend bring his ex to my birthday party? Okay. Why would your boyfriend ask you to bring his ex to your birthday party? Where they do that? I'm trying to think how I would act if one of my boyfriends did that would be an epic meltdown. Okay. I'm 25 and my boyfriend is 28. We've been together for about a year and a half. My birthday was last weekend. Nothing huge, just dinner with a few close friends and family. Okay, so you're a Virgo, right? That's a Virgo. A few days beforehand, my boyfriend casually asked if it was okay if his ex came. Auntie, I thought he was joking. He wasn't. Apparently, his ex is still friends with several people in our friend group, and she had asked if she could come because she wanted to see everybody. I told him I wasn't comfortable with it. Well, see, that's what you get for using that damn word. He said they ended on good terms and haven't been together for years. I would have been like, I don't give a fuck. It's my party and she ain't coming. I said I understood that, but it's still my birthday and I didn't want to spend the night wondering why my boyfriend's ex was sitting across the table from me. He said I was being immature. I told him that she could see those friends another time. He said I was making his life difficult over someone who doesn't matter. That sentence actually made me feel worse. If she doesn't matter, then why is it so important that she attend my birthday? Exactly. Good job. We argued about it for 2 days. Then he told me that he had already invited her. And Deb, I was furious. He said he didn't think that I'd actually refuse because, quote, most people would just be polite, end quote. I told him she wasn't welcome. He said if I uninvited her, he wouldn't come either. So I told him that's fine. He didn't come. Instead, he went out with his ex and 2 of their mutual friends that night. I spent my birthday with my family and tried not to think about it. The next day, he said I ruined our relationship over nothing and that I embarrassed him by making him choose. I told him that he chose. Now his friends are saying I was controlling and insecure because his ex wasn't trying to get him back. My sister thinks I was completely justified because it was my birthday and he ignored a very simple boundary. I started to wonder if I was too harsh. I could have just let her come and ignored her, but honestly, I didn't want to. Am I being jealous and controlling for refusing to let my boyfriend bring his ex to my birthday party? Especially after he decided to go out with her instead. How would you have handled it? I would have handled it one of 2 ways. I would have told him let me go back let me not miss up the chronological order here. Okay, he says he wants, if it's okay to bring his ex to the party. I'm like, well, I'm glad you asked because one of my exes wanted to come to the party too. So if you're going to bring your ex, I can bring mine. That's okay, right? Remember my motto? Match energy. Always match energy. Then that would give him done. He would be like, huh? Is that what you bring your ex? You go, Well, you bringing your ex, why can't I let mine come? I was going to ask you about it, but you beat me to it. I think that's a great idea. Let her come and she can meet my ex. We can all be here with our exes together. See, that would have been a good test. That's how I like to do things. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm just going to fight fire with fire, flamethrower with a flamethrower. You want to drop a little lug, I'm going to drop two. Yeah, I might have two of my exes come. We're going to have Roger and Derek going to come and show up. I would make sure it was two. Well, I only invited Roger, but I don't know where he just showed up. So I would have two exes there and he only had one. And I'd be paying them so much attention, catching up. Oh, what's going on? How you been? How your mama doing? I'd be hella extra just because I could. Okay, that's my number one thing I would do. But sometimes I might not have an ex. I mean, what if I was a person that didn't have an ex that I want to be looking at? I mean, because, maybe they all like crusty, dusty, and toe up, and I don't really want to be bothered. Then I would just say, okay, so you want to, let me get this straight. Some bitch that you used to fuck, you want to bring her up in my house over my parents and my family and act like it's nothing. That's what you telling me right now. That's what you think is a good idea. And then, when you put things bluntly like that, sometimes, it wakes people up and they be like, well, no, you're making too much of it. Did you fuck her or not? Well, yeah, but that's what I think. You want to bring some bitch that you used to fuck up in the house with in my mother's house and stuff. That's what you're telling me. And then he would be stuttering and stammering and said, well, we're not going to do that. And if that's something that you really feel that strongly about, then you go out with her and lose my number. And that'll be it. And I'll invite somebody who's got better sense and better boundaries to be my boyfriend at my birthday party, because it ain't you. And then that would be the end of that. One thing I would not do is let him call me the next day after he done hung out with this bitch and some other friends on my birthday. We're not doing that. You can do these. You're going to be here with me and we're going to have our exes here. Are you going to be here with me and we're not going to have our exes here? Or are you going to be over there with her and we're done here? Those are the three choices. One of them three, pick one. And that would be the end of that. One thing you do, I'm just telling you, I don't know. I don't mince words with men. I never forget this dude out there. He was 6'5", a deep voice. I mean, really handsome dude and everything. But he used to, I'm 5'5". Okay, so he was a foot taller than me. You think I gave a fuck? He came to my house and I just lost my mind. And I forgot what he did. But he opened the door and was cussing at him, right? My little short self. And he was just sitting there like going like this, like, and he wasn't joking. I mean, he was really like, nervous. And he's like, I can't believe you're talking to me like this. I've never had anyone talk to me like this, with his deep voice, like he was whining and stuff like a little kid. That shit is so hilarious to me, even to this day. I mean, at the time I wasn't laughing because whatever it was, I was livid at what he had did, which I don't remember right now, but I was ripping him up a side down the other, yeah. And he was just too through with me. Then I slammed the door in his face and told him, you can't come in. And so that was that. But I'm sorry, you guys. So that's how we're going to do it. It's going to be one of them three ways. I wish more young ladies would not take bullshit from men. That would just make me so happy. They're going to try to disrespect you. I'm not saying that that's, that they're not going to do that. But the bottom line is, you determine if they're going to get away with that or not. You do that. So you tell them, what the rule is going to be, and then that's just the way that it is. It's your show. It's your life. It's your feelings. It's your heart. It's your dignity that you're sacrificing just to say that you have a relationship with a man. Please don't do that. Okay? Don't do that. Your dignity is the number one thing that you must protect, honor, and respect about yourself at all times in every decision that you make. Whether it's professional, personal, romantic, I don't really care. What impact is going to have on your dignity? If you don't know what dignity is, please look it up online, Google it. Because we're going to be talking about that in our Girls' Night Out. And reminder to go on the YouTube show community page and vote for the night that you think is the best evening for you to attend. Whichever night gets the most votes, that's what I'm going to schedule the show. So go on the community wall. It's the Girls Night Out poll. Please take it. The poll will close on Tuesday, and then I'm going to schedule the show that day. So that's it. That's it. And that's all. Other than that, it's been magic. I'll see you guys later. We wind out August, my birthday month. I'm tired of celebrating. I'm done. See you guys later. Bye, Shay.